Well, one of the deadliest encounters in recent years. 31 Naxals killed in a fierce gun battle with security forces deep inside the Chhattisgarh forest. But the price was heavy as well. 2 Indian commandos also lost their lives in the line of duty. Now, for decades, Naxalism has been India's most persistent internal security challenge. Since the insurgency began in the 1960s, it has claimed nearly 10,000 lives. Now, the Indian government has set a March 2026 deadline to wipe out Maoist insurgents completely. But the key questions remain. Is this the final push or just another phase in the long battle? Can security forces truly eliminate the Naxal threat? And beyond military action, what more needs to be done to win over the local communities? Joining me to discuss these prime questions are Brigadier BK Ponwar, former director of the Counter Terrorism and Jungle Warfare College in Kanker, who has trained security forces in Naxal combat, and also with us on the broadcast, Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, an expert in counter-insurgency operations. Can India defeat the Maoist insurgency? Brigadier Ponwar, after decades of fighting, the Indian government has set a March 2026 deadline to eradicate Naxalism. Is this achievable, or will this insurgency simply adapt and relocate, and we're going to look at a longer term fighting that will continue?
The whole story goes back when Mupala Lakshman Rao formed the Naxal movement, and it started in 1967. Mojumdar fellow, he had started this, that this is not the India we wanted. And it kept getting neglected for some reason or the other. As a result, entire forest belt of our nation came under the Red Corridor, came under the people who claimed that they have been bypassed, the national industrialists have been bypassed these areas. They feel that they have been neglected, and this is not the India they wanted. So they took up arms. They said it has to be a violent movement with the Maoist philosophy that power flows from the barrel of the gun. And when it got to almost 231 districts in the early 2019, in fact 1980 onwards, 231 districts of the country were affected by the Naxal movement, almost 1/3 of India. So then the focus started that we have to get the army or the security forces and more people to get into it. It was the job of the police. And the police was trained for doing police activities. Police activities, police crime starts after the FIR has been lodged. Then the police takes action to go and carry out the tahqiqat and so on and so forth. Here the Naxalites had gained weapons. They had raided various armories in Odisha and so many other places. And they had got training. And what is more, they got training from the LTT with the help of IEDs, the improvised explosive device. In simple term, it's a jugaad. You get a couple of boxes of the kitchenware and what you put rice and wheat and all that, and that's filled with explosives. And explosives were available in plenty in the mining industries. And these are being used against security forces, vehicles, police stations, and so on. So the Chhattisgarh government, which was in the eye of the storm, started to train their policemen. The policeman had to be trained to become from a policeman to a warrior, to carry out offensive counter-Naxal operations.
Brigadier Ponwar,
as the Indian Army has been doing.
My apologies for interjecting here. Coming exactly to what prevailed over the weekend in those deep jungle areas, you have trained thousands of personnel in jungle warfare. What tactical shifts? Let's focus on the tactical shifts that have led to these recent major successes. 81 rebels neutralized in this year alone.
This tactical shift is I was coming to that we trained the Naxalites, we trained the policemen to combat the Naxalites with the formation of the fight the gorilla like a gorilla. From the jungle itself, to go into their caves and pull them out from the jungles. And it was to be so ordained and so coordinated that multi-directional coordinate search operations to be carried out in Naxal movement. And that is what the present forces are doing. They have been trained, they have got used to it, they know how to go about it, and they're doing an outstanding job. This is another success of 31 Naxalites killed, and many were wounded and run away from the battlefield. So here it is. Here is the result of a trained policeman.
All right.
And now, not only training against guerrillas and Naxalites, but training against carrying out civic actions against the villagers. The villagers should now have already started saying, "Ye hamari police hai, hamare liye." This is our police for our protection and our well-being. The policeman, with the orders from the government, is carrying out protection of various development activities, the economic activities, the roads, the hospital, the schools. So many schools have opened up.
Right,
So
Brigadier, because winning the hearts and the minds of the locals is equally important when you're talking about eradicating Naxalism right from the grassroots. I'm going to, bring in Dr. Singh also in on the conversation. Dr. Singh, we're talking about the Cobra unit that has been at the forefront of these anti-Naxal operations. Now, let's talk about this unit as well. How effective have these specialized battalions been in tackling insurgency? We've already seen major successes. And do you see a need for expanding or evolving their role further? I mean, if they're doing or getting the job done, why not deploy and fund them better and more?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is a good question. But specialized crime requires specialized troops, specialized weaponry, and specialized strategy. Area domination has also improved weaponry, improved collection of intelligence, and also the cordoning of operations, and also assaulting them and plugging in the difficult areas for escape routes is also a task that is best done by specialized units like the Cobras, the Greyhounds. You have the UP, STF, and others that have been specially trained, because these are highly trained and motivated criminals, and I was the desperados that would require this formation. And to say that perhaps this is a gallant encounter and a great success, I compliment the Chhattisgarh and the Bijapur police for what their achievements and the special commandos. But we, as you very rightly mentioned, a heavy price that we've lost 2 of our Jawans and 2 are critically injured. But to say that the battle is over would be wishful thinking and would be expecting a lot more. I would say that we have made a small beginning, and to expect that the war will end by June next year, well, that would be absolutely unrealistic to presume also.
I was actually going to come to that, Dr. Singh, because 2026, is that deadline achievable?
I would say that in the 2008, when I was the DGP and the DGP's conference, no other than Mr. Ajit Doval mentioned that 40% of the land mass is covered by left-wing extremism. And therefore, we have won the major battles. We have an area domination is there. But to feel that the infection would be over by that time, I wish I'm wrong. But I think that like any soldier, I would say you have to be absolutely realistic and presume that you have the way you remove a cigarette butt and extinguish a cigarette butt, that operation may be over, but there are ways and means of the fire rekindling itself. Therefore, I would say I would add another 24 months before we can say with a lot of complacency that there has been a major achievement, but not before that.
All right, Dr. Singh, many thanks for those, inputs. Brigadier Ponwar, I'm going to again come to you, again talking about this latest, encounter, this operation that was carried out over the weekend. There was one challenge that everybody is talking about, and that was the lack of forward base camps that posed a major challenge in this operation. Now, how critical is infrastructure in sustaining long-term counter-insurgency operations, and what should be done to improve it?
The counter-insurgency operation or counter-Naxal operations, you have got to establish a grid. A grid is like a fisherman's net. Each knot on the net is a post, the COB, and 2 dots are about 15-20 kilometers or 5 kilometers apart, so that anywhere where the Naxalites are, from multi-directional approach, an offense can be carried out on these Naxalite gatherings, Naxalite camps, as it was done in this Sunday's operation. From 3-4 direction, the security forces surrounded the Naxalites, and there was a gunfight, and it continued, and that the result is that the 31 killed. And may I say, the leadership of the Naxal movement, Mupala Lakshman Rao, has run away to the Philippines. The person who said he will hoist red flag on Red Fort, he has gone away to the Philippines and said he cannot handle it any further. And so many other leaders in the movement have either died or have been captured. And many are now old, and other people are not available to take their place. When an army does not have a leader, when the Naxal movement does not have a leader, they don't have much time left. As far as the security forces are concerned, if we are able to have this grid established in all the dark areas where security forces influence was not there, if it is there, there is no way the Naxal movement can continue, because the Naxal movement continues with the help of the population. And if the population is on our side, they say, Hamari police, it's like a fish pond. The fish survives on water. We take away the water, which is the population, the fish cannot survive. And that is what is happening, and that's why so many Naxalites are surrendering. Leadership gone, Naxalites gone. And we have to continue rigorous counter-insurgency, coordinated search operation in all the dark areas. All the areas where security forces influence is not there or was not there. It should be there. And that deadline, 2026, is going to be very, very close, and it's possible. At least it is possible as far as the influence.
So we've got
in all those.
We've got two opinions here. We've got two different opinions here. Brigadier Ponwar saying that it is in fact possible, but of course, Dr. Singh,
not total eradication. I will say not total eradication, but the influence on those 20-25 districts by the security forces is possible by our physical presence.
And that's also going to be a great achievement. We're going to leave it there. Thank you, gentlemen. Brigadier Ponwar and Dr. Singh, many thanks for joining us here on News 9, on the News 9 Plus show, and helping us out with your insights and inputs. Because once considered India's greatest internal security challenge, the Naxalites, they're just like the panelists were talking about, are running out of strongholds. But the final battle will not be fought just in the jungles. It will be won in the hearts and the minds of the people as well. But hey, take a look at this. Naxals are now on the run, and thanks in part to the Cobra Commandos, the CRPF's elite guerrilla unit, which played a key role in this latest operation as well. Watch our special feature, Cobra Commandos with a Bite, only on the News 9 Plus app.
पशुपति से तिरुपति, नक्सलियों को तो पूरा भारत अपनी मुट्ठी में चाहिए था। जंगल पे कब्जा, गरीब आदिवासियों के दिमाग पे कब्जा, बेरोजगार के हाथ में बंदूक। उन्होंने हर कोशिश करके देख ली। 2006 में तो प्रधानमंत्री ने नक्सलवाद को सिंगल बिगेस्ट सिक्योरिटी चैलेंज भी बोल दिया था। लेकिन आज ना तो वो घर के रहे, ना घाट के, और वजह सिर्फ कोबरा।
Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching the News 9 Plus show. Top developments right on the other side. Don't go anywhere.